Been waiting on this day for a long time, and it finally arrived today. And it's, as I said earlier, this is 5 phases when you talk about from January till you start the season. And phase one was just winter conditioning, and that was a time that we were able to get just stronger and just try to find out just who your football team is. And our strength coach, Coach Moore, had a good time with them. And then during that period, you just try to just recognize who are going to be your leaders. And phase two started today for us, and that's spring practice. And then this time it is where you go out and just refine fundamentals. And we are able to coach and teach as coaches and motivate and inspire. And today was it was a good day for the first day. I'm really excited about just how our guys ran around. I think the tempo was a little different for a lot of them, just running on and off the field. But you're going to get better with that because we're going to be able to coach that. And that's all about coaching right there. And guys just understand what we want. And coach, and players, they're always trying to figure you out as a coach. And as a coach, you just got to know just the personality of the player that you're dealing with. But it was good to get out there today just for the first day and just really excited. And now we look forward to getting on Thursday. And I know that you just want to improve just day by day. And we have an opportunity to do that. And just so excited. And the thing you like about this group of guys, and I said it, Coach Brown left us a great group. And the thing you like is just how they work. And there's been no resentment. Everyone has done everything we ask them to do within this program. And that's what makes it exciting, that you don't have to just deal with issues. There are always going to be issues. There are going to be issues that pop up, but you can deal with them because of the group that you have. And you have leaders that are emerging that understand what we're looking for.
Charlie, Sean was talking about how your ability to get close to these guys, including having them come up and hang out in your office, helps you to get through issues. And maybe some of the guys were surprised that you were serious about them coming up and hanging out with you. You just talk about that and how you want them around.
Well, I know this. We have a great facility here, you said, and everything is kind of locked down. So what I did is I said, hey, let's take the locks off the doors. And I told the players that now when you come up, you can just walk right in. If I'm not doing anything, a lot of times I'm sitting in my office. I'm not in my office. I'm in the defensive meeting room. But I just want them to know who we are. And because when a young man knows that you care about him, then he will do everything you ask of him. And that's what I want them to understand. And just understand what life is all about. Because you know this, if you get them a degree, then they have a chance to go be successful. But a lot of them, when you're dealing with young people, they have those big, bright eyes, and they're thinking that it's the next level for me, and it may not happen. It doesn't always happen for everyone. But you want to know that, and you want them to know what you're all about, and just for them to just know that you care about them.
Getting players who are coming and staying too long, hey.
Yeah, I get that. That's when I go find Bianchi and tell him, hey, do I have an interview coming so I can get him out of the office? But no, I don't mind that at all, because sometimes when they stay a long time, it's something on their mind. So I say, okay, what is it you want to tell me? Because you've been here a long time, and we've just been kind of bouncing around ideas here. So really, what do you want? And then I finally get it out of them.
Coach, was the guys' attitude one of hungriness and excitement, or a team that looked like they just lost their bowl game still?
Well, it's always going to be an attitude where they have something to prove, and I know that they're looking to prove to themselves that they can be a good football team if they just put it all together. But it's still work to be done. We're nowhere near where we should be, and we have a long ways to go. And we know that I still got a lot of practices to get it ready. You have 14 more, but still, we're not trying to win a game right now. We're just trying to continue to build guys and just see what we have as a football team.
So what are the other 3 phases? You mentioned 5 phases. What are the other 3?
The third phase will be summer conditioning. So now we went from winter conditioning, now you go back to summer conditioning. And the good thing about summer conditioning is you get your freshmen in. And so now that they're able to become a part of the program, you still have a chance to go get bigger and stronger, and they have a chance to work with our strength and conditioning staff. And then you get to the fourth phase is the preseason camp. So when you get to preseason camp, now you really feel like now it's time we really got to build this football team. And now we had to come together as a team with the chemistry and with the focus, and now it's all about the preparation, because now we're looking into the season. And now you get into the season, which is the fifth phase, and now you have 12 guaranteed opportunities. You have that. So now are you going to build on those opportunities, and how we're going to match up with those opportunities? Because you only get 12. And the thing I like about when you get to phase 5, I'd say that is now all that work with winter conditioning, all that work with spring practice, all that work with summer conditioning, preseason camp. Now you have a chance to go out and show everybody what you have done. So, but you only get 12 opportunities, and you can't waste one either.
Coach, you talked about working with them on fundamentals right now. Is there a certain time period for when you'd like to be able to say, okay, this is the personnel we have, and sort of start melding your schemes to what you see?
Well, we have that personnel because, you know, when you walk out there, you can say, hey, we have a first unit on offense. We have a first unit on defense. But with the fundamentals, you know, there's some guys that have left the program who've graduated. So some guys are moving up. Those guys that are moving up that haven't played a lot, you just want to just see where they are and just how much work that they need to, how much work you need to do with them. Because when you talk about it, you know, if a guy takes a wrong step, it's a wrong step, and you can't take a wrong step. You know, a guy today I talked about, you know, receivers dropping balls. You can't turn the football over. You got to make the catch. When you talk about turning the ball over with fumbles, and the quarterback just with tempo. Hey, let's get up there, let's get a rhythm going, and let's get guys up to the line of scrimmage, and let's go, 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 go. But that's mainly what I'm looking for defensively. You know, guys getting around the ball. You know, they want to make sure that we keep the ball inside and in front, take the correct pursuit angle to the football, not giving up the big throw on defense. You know, letting the ball get thrown over your head. So it's so many things to work on, and you just try to take it, but just day by day. And the good thing we have is we practice today. We have the film to look at now, so it can be a lot of corrections that we can make.
The leadership on offense, where's that coming from right now?
Well, you always want to say this. You would hope that your leadership comes from the quarterback position because he's the guy that has the ball in his hand, the guy that makes a lot of decisions. So you want to see if, you know, with Ash and Swopes where it can grow and we can develop a leader there. I would say Espinosa is because he's the center and he's the anchor of the offensive line that he can make the right calls for us there. And I look at our running backs. You know, you look at those three running backs that have played a lot. You know, with Gray, with Brown, and with Bergeron, those are three backs that have played a lot for us. So you would feel like you can get some leadership out of that position there. And then you go to the defensive side of the ball. There's Malcolm Brown, and there's Tank inside, two big guys with Cedric Reed. You know, I look at our defensive front, I feel like you have a really good established defensive front sitting there looking at you. And then you look at Edmonds, who's played a lot of football with Santos. So you have some guys in the secondary is a group that is back for you. So you have some guys, and that's all about that senior group just coming together and growing together, and now just maturing and letting the whole team mature around them. You know, I always say this about a leader. If he can motivate, if he can inspire, then you have a chance to have you an outstanding leader and get guys to play up to their ability, even play above their ability.
Do you know what you have on the offensive line outside of Espinosa, or is it wide open?
No, it isn't wide open. I think that, you know, what Coach Wickline is going to do a great job of just putting that all together because you still have Kennedy sitting there and you have Harrison. So you have some guys that are sitting there. So it's not about now just, you know, just making sure that we mend that group together and get us a really solid core group of, you know, 5 guys that just going to come off the football and be solid for us, protect the quarterback, and open up holes for our running back.
Harrison's a little banged up.
Harrison's a little banged up.
Coach, what's the difference in tempo? You said, are they out there walking around? Is it something they're not used to? What's your tempo like out there?
No, I always say this. When you start off practice, you always start with the individual. So when you go to individual, it's more of just teaching. So coaches are standing there, they're teaching, and guys are in a teaching mode. Now, when we go inside drill, it's offense. Anytime there's offense versus defense, whether it be inside drill, whether it be team, whether it be one-on-one, Skelly, now the tempo's got to pick up because it's all about competition now. Let's go compete, and that's why I say let's get up and let's go now. You know, we say run to the football, run to the football. Keep the ball inside in front, keep the ball inside in front. Quarterback, get up there, call the play, and let's go. We can't drop the ball at a wide receiver. Hey, we can't fumble at running back. But the tempo, anytime it becomes a competitive situation, you expect the tempo to go. Now I want to see us get at game speed and say game speed, hey, is this the way you're going to play in a game? Now, that's what I want to see. Now, if you're going to walk around, let me know now. You won't be standing out here walking around. You'll be standing over here with me.
Coach, you mentioned Ash. You know, you're obviously quarterback being looked upon as a leader. What are your impressions of him? Is he one that has something to prove because of the issues, you know, with the concussions last year?
Well, you always look at anytime a young man has concussion, that's very serious, and we always want to make sure that as a coach, you want to protect the player and you want to make sure that he doesn't get injured. But with him bouncing back, and now that our trainers and our doctors have said that he's ready to go, and he's a young man that started here before, so you will look to him as a leader, and that quarterback position is the position right now that we feel like that if we can just find the right guy there, you have a chance.
I know it was just one day without pads, but how did he look out there today to you?
You know, just like everyone else, just trying to just put it all together because you're yelling, get up on the ball, let's go, and then he's trying to just find out what the correct reads are, and there's a coach back there, Coach Watson's trying to give him the play, but I think just the first day he was okay.
Coach, how well do you think you know these guys now, and have you gotten a desired response from the framework that you laid down to them when you got the job?
I think that each day that they're growing on me, and it's getting better because if you look at what you're dealing with, and like I said, when you have a good group of young men, and that's what Coach did, the way he recruited guys with good character. So when you had that group, then when you walk in, and there was no resentment, so it's more like they were more accepting to us as a coaching staff, where we didn't have to come in and try to just go overboard to win anyone over. We didn't have to do it. But I thought that, and I feel like this, when they felt like that we had their best interests at heart, then now they start coming around, and that's why they will come into office and they will come up here and hang out. And even if we go over and eat dinner with them, they're going to sit down at the table and want to joke around. But then they see that side of us, and then they see the side where when they step out of line, then they can get corrected real quickly. And it's when it's real quick, it's real quick. But you just you like what you have. And I really do. I like what I have, and I just know this. They're eager and they want to get better, and they know that when you have pride and you have tradition in a program, then it's not hard to get players to do what you ask them to do.
Charlie, Chris Leak told me that you recruited him to Florida, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And he said, Charlie recruits the best players, and you did that at Louisville too. You plan to keep doing that? How many players do you typically handle yourself?
Well, what I try to tell our coaches is that everybody's responsible for an area and they're responsible for a position, but just give me 5 guys a night. Just have 5 guys that call me at night. I don't care who they are, but no, I love to get involved with recruiting because when a recruit understands that the head coach is involved, then he knows that he becomes a special recruit. But I tell them all the time, I don't mind recruiting. It's because it's the bloodline of your program. You better get you some really good players if you want to last a long time in this business. But no, I always look at it like this. And when you have a university like this and it has great academics and great tradition, then you're going to go get you some good recruits.
Coach, did you take a moment today, step back and view it all, new team, new surroundings, and everything? Did it feel like the first day all over again?
Oh, it did. But you know what? And I said it to Vance when we walked out there because I jokingly said to Vance, I said, you never thought you'd be back here coaching after you played here, and now you're back here as a defensive coordinator. But we were. We was kind of joking there and stretch about it. But you know what? When you're in a special place, sometimes you have to, sometimes we just go. We don't take time to just step back and just realize where we are and just how far we've come.
Charlie, speaking of Vance, is there ever a moment when he's not hyper and dancing? Never calm at all?
My guy's always got energy now, and the thing about him is he's an outstanding coach and has a great relationship with the players, and that's why he's such a special coach, and that's why the players you like him, because you see him out there and he's joking with them, and I always tell him because he has bad knees. I say you keep on. One of these days you're gonna go down, and I'm not gonna run and pick you up. We're just gonna have to call the trainer and move you out of the way. But the thing he does is he loves this university. He played here. He's a Texas ex, but he's no different than Les. When you get coaches like that and you have coaches on your staff that have played and they're part of it, then it's special to him. And then he does. He has that special bond for this place. And I can see why, because it's a great place.
Coach, you talk a lot about putting the team back in Texas with the toughness, togetherness, teamwork, things like that. At this point in the offseason, what kind of progress have you seen being made?
Well, it's a work in progress, and we will continue to work and try to get the T back because it's about toughness. It's about mental and physical toughness. And when you talk about trust, you want guys that you can depend on, and guys that, because once you depend on them, then you can trust them. Everything's is togetherness because that's the only way you're going to ever develop a team when guys do come together. But that's what's important is just getting that T back. But the players understand it. And when I put that on the back of their shirts, Espinosa said to me, he said, "Coach, that's what we needed." And they wear it. And they wear that shirt. And whenever they work out, that shirt is always worn. And it is. It's about getting the T back.
Charlie, it sounds like practice is going to be work and, just coaches and players in there. Can you just talk about your philosophy on that and how you're approaching it?
Well, just with my first year getting there, I'm just still trying to just figure out the players and just understand what their work ethic is and give them a chance to understand what the coaches are really wanting. And that's why it's the way it is right now. And it's not for no special reason. A lot of times people think that, he's coming in to just shut down practice and they're closing down this. It's no mystery to it. It's nothing that we're doing that no one else is doing. But I just want to make sure that our first year that guys understand who we are and they understand our tempo and there's no distractions, and then you don't have to worry about, who's standing over, and then all of a sudden somebody's going to make a comment. But, we just want to get away from all of that and just get back to just building this team. And we're talking about putting the T back into Texas and just finding guys that, who has the passion, who has the drive, and who really loves this game of football. And then when you look at it and you continue to build, at some point, once we get it built, then we'll open it back up. But for right now, I just need to just find out who this football team is and just find out just really what we have. And every day just look to improve and get better.
Coach, I know you've talked about it, but just to clarify, the play calling duties on the offense, that one final voice, is that Sean or Joe?
The one final voice will be Sean. And Joe is the offensive coordinator. Sean's the assistant head coach in charge of the offense. Two guys that work together. But when you look at guys that have been in the program, guys have been around coaching for a long time. They're very mature. My years at Florida, one time I was co-defensive coordinator, and Greg Madison, both him and I were the co-coordinator. So it was never an issue, hey, who called the defense. Walking down the sideline, I make a call, then, hey, we call it. I remember I think one time I've only got questioned in calling the defense, but it was Urban, and we were playing Georgia, and it was, yes, what a game. And so we had just scored, and we go up, and it's fourth down, and I'm walking toward him, and I make a call, and I call an all-out blitz, and he looks at me, and he goes down on his knees, and says, "Oh, please, Charlie, don't do it, please, man, don't." I said, "Okay, time out." And so then I changed the call. So when I changed the call, my guys got lined up the wrong way anyway. And I said, "Hey, Urban, look, we're lined up wrong. If I just made that call, we'd been fine." But we ended up sacking the quarterback, getting out of there. But no, it's when you talk about just play calling duties, they can, because they're mature enough and they've been around it enough. And neither one has an ego. Wickline's going to be involved with it. He's going to make some calls. Sean's going to make some calls. But, we go down the stretch and we had to have a call made. Hey, I think Sean, because he's been doing it a long time, and I'm comfortable with him. And so, but I don't think that it will ever be an issue of, hey, it's because those guys, it's been around too long for the ego, and I'm not going to put up with it. And they know that, we're not here for ourselves. We're here for these players. And if you got an ego, you're working at the wrong place. Hey, check your ego at the door and let's get going around here. We're here to win and get these young men graduated.
Coach, Matt had mentioned that when things started to get out of order at Texas, he related it to BBs being spilled out of the box. With the group of guys that you guys have here now, do you think it's going to take long to get those BBs back inside?
Well, you like to work to just hopefully get those BBs back in order, and they can get back in order. A lot of times that everybody wants to win and everybody wants to champion, and I think that settles a lot of it. But we just got to continue to build this team, and I think the BBs, once they realize who we are, then I think I can keep them in the box. I hope I can.
Who's the player you had to work the hardest to get in there, to get them to buy in, where it really paid off for that player?
We're here, or just any
Or
other.
just anywhere.
Probably the one player that I would say in my career that I had to work was Carlos Dunlap, who starts now with the Cincinnati Bengals. And he was a talented young man, but he was one of those guys that was so talented. You know, in high school, he was 6'7", and he returned a kickoff 100 yards for a touchdown. And then he goes to college and he intercepts a ball. His first few plays in college football. But when a guy's been blessed with that much talent, sometimes they feel like they don't have to be coached. But then what happens is that we all get humbled in some way, and then once he got humbled, he started realizing coaching does matter, and then we were able to reel him back in.
Coach, you talked about the offensive line other than Espinoza. Most of those guys were actually offered and recruited by Joe Wickline at Oklahoma State,
Mhm.
like Darius James and Kennedy Estelle
Right.
and guys like that. Did that give him a little bit of a leg up in terms of already knowing those guys or knowing what they're capable of?
It did, because even when we got Joe here and he met with the offensive line, they were all laughing at him and teasing with him because they were saying, "Oh, you try to get us to come to Oklahoma State, now you're going to come to the real schools now." Some comment they made to him, but Joe had a great relationship with those players at that time.
Coach, when you guys started doing one-on-one today or pass scale or whatever, did you see the competitiveness between the guys going at it?
Oh, they competed, but that's what I told them. I said, anytime we go on offensive, versus defense, it's going to be competition. So whether it be the one-on-one, even when we went inside drill, you saw guys trying to fit blocks. And the thing you want to do, because we don't have no pads on, is make sure that they use their hands and their linebackers don't run downhill and try to hit a running back. But it's just key to stay up, because they have to learn how to practice. So if you can teach them how to practice with no pads on, when we do put pads on, then they'll know how to practice. Because I tell them all the time, don't ever hit one of your teammates if he's in a vulnerable position. If a receiver's laying out, he has all of his midsection open, don't do it. Just back away from him, let him catch the ball. Okay, you would have hit him, okay, I know that, but we're not going to do it in practice. I'm not trying to see how tough someone is, and I'm for sure not going to lose a good player in practice.
Who's been the toughest player for you to solve since you've been here?
Well, yeah, it's no one really stands out. Everybody's always wanting to do something. They're all talking. So I told them, come Saturday, we'll get the pads on. We'll see where we are. And the guys who love to talk, we'll match you up with the right guy, and then you can talk all you want afterwards.
Who in the weight room surprised you? Because you mix it up with guys all the time saying, "Don't let me outwork you."
Right.
Who responded maybe in a way that you're like, "Oh, okay."
Again, is Jonathan Gray. I think that he does a great job. Right now he's battling back from that injury, but has been working very hard. You just like the way that he's really has worked, and he doesn't mind working, but he has really worked very well.
Charlie, in terms of figuring out that base defense that you're comfortable with personnel, do you like playing around with that, in the film room and kind of moving parts around, during this period when you can experiment with some stuff?
Well, we like to be very multiple on defense, and so when you look at our scheme, we're going to do a lot of moving around. We're going to have our base, but then when it's time to get to, we're going to be a zone pressure team, so we're going to be able to box it out of 3 down too also. So we just got to find that special player that you can move around. But when you look at those guys up front with Cedric, with Malcolm, with Tank, and you got some guys with Davis, you got some guys that you can move around, and guys that are in place that are big body guys, but also you're athletic enough where you can take your parts and kind of move them and put them where you need to. But Vance, he'll do a good job with that, when he sat down and just, what you want to do now, just make sure that just with your scheme, that you can get a scheme in, and hey, can we run this scheme? And then now let's just add a little more, add a little more, add a little more. Even with offense, you like to do that.
How's Ridgeway?
Time for 2 last questions, guys.
Hassan Ridgeway, how's he?
Ridgeway had a good day today. He is so big and so athletic, and he's only going to get better and better. And just like his overall work ethic, a guy that takes, the thing he needs to do more than anything is not take everything so personal, because he feel if he ever doesn't do it the right way, then it bothers him. And I said, listen, son, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. But you just grow from the mistake, and let's just move on, because he don't want to let it go. He's one of those guys that, hey, let it go, okay? We're on the next play, so let's just keep moving.
Charlie, Bryson Eccles was working with the cornerbacks with the number ones today. What have you seen from him? Just kind of.
Eccles, he's one of those little guys there over that we put into the boundary at cornerback, and he's probably going to play some nickel back for us, but athletic, can run. But you like to see him where he gets comfortable enough where we can get him and start moving him around and making sure that he can develop into something special.
What went into the decision to have Miles get some reps at quarterback, and what have y'all
Oh, well, Miles think he's a quarterback, I think. But Miles has played everything. But, you know, the thing about him is that he's one of those young men that you ask him to move to a position, and he moved. And that's, you know, we're just trying to just get us some bodies at that position.